Hi, I just finished a video on what are the three principles as the basis of my work. And I thought what's missing now is not so much what aren't you, meaning you are not the thoughts that come and go, the thoughts of identity, the thoughts of the past, the thoughts of an anxious future, the thoughts of unworthiness, the thoughts of a special kind of worthiness. All of these are thought creations that serve to limit this limitless energy that we are and that we are part of. So there can be some confusion in life about how complicated it is to get through life and overcome our mental and physical or circumstantial challenges. And yet, in a moment when thought is quiet, when all thoughts of who we are or the past and the future have subsided, in that instant, what are you? And this is where the idea or the concept of innate mental health comes in. I call it a concept because it's just a word: innate mental health, innate well being, wellness. All of these words that are used to signify something that we are that is much deeper and more consistent. In fact, totally consistent than our thinking and our circumstances and our entire actual lives on this planet Earth, which come and go. And so the basis of my work also is helping people to understand that no matter what their thinking is, and no matter what their life circumstances are, and even within a quote unquote spiritual journey or spiritual search, regardless of all of these, let's say, scenarios in the world of form or arrangements of form in this world, there is something that we are that is constant. People have called it conscious intelligence. People have called it God. People have called it awareness. People have called it reality. People have called it the absolute. And so, because our thinking can get so complicated, it's easy to follow thought and to follow thought to a point where life does look very complicated and problems and situations do look quite complicated. And yet, there is the simple opportunity always to stop. And this stopping may be in an instant, it may take some time, some apparent time. This stopping may be in the midst of a great emotion, stopping within the heart of an emotion, stopping within the heart of pain and suffering, just stopping the mind, the personal thought system for a moment to see what lies underneath. And this is what you are, and this is your freedom. This is your well being. This is your mental health. This is the source and fountain of all wisdom. This is the source and fountain of all insight. This is the source and fountain of the joy of being, the simple joy of being, which, if you take a moment to reflect on, you've experienced, it has been in your life since childhood. And when the mind has stopped, when the mind has become quiet, it's there. So I felt it important to share, sort of what the goal is here. The goal, the destination, and the starting point is one and the same. The apparent journey in life is a thought journey. The body grows and circumstances change, and life changes in the form, and our thoughts somehow are able to create a whole illusion of separation from life, of isolation from life, of unworthiness. And this is innocent. This may be based in childhood experiences, terrible experiences, and all of this thinking may be understandable. But necessary is a different word. The thinking you now have that may be creating suffering is understandable, probably given your life situation, but is it necessary? And there comes a time in our lives when we're ready to simply face our thinking and to see through thought, and to see that there's something that's always been generating thought, that is the source of thought, that is the source of consciousness, that is the source of our sense of existence, that has always been with us. And the beautiful thing is, once we begin to recognize this innate wellness or innate well-being, the capacity that we have to surrender to that, to let go of our efforts to try to improve, whether it be our careers or our mental states or our job situation, our life situation, the ways that we struggle and put a lot of effort into that, we can just start to drop. And when we surrender into this natural intelligence and flow that is our conscious intelligence, our intelligent consciousness, then the beauty of life becomes more apparent. We could say the beauty of life shows up. And as we appreciate the beauty of life, interestingly enough, paradoxically, or perhaps logically, more beauty arises, more beauty arrives. And it all has to do with getting ourselves out of the way. There doesn't have to be a self that is reaching for, grasping for, trying to improve, trying to reach a new level of consciousness, trying to get somewhere, trying to become enlightened, trying to become successful, or any of that. When the self is seen through this idea, this thought-created idea of a self, then the intelligence that is already in consciousness, that is a loving intelligence, begins to take over. So now, as a human being, I still experience moments of effort and trying, and yet the difference between me and perhaps someone who has not had the blessing of being given this information and taking it in deeply is that I know what's happening, and I know where home is. Home is always here. Home is always you. Here, now, wherever you are on this planet Earth, home is where the heart is. So I just wanted to share sort of the flip side of understanding the principles in thought. And that is that we understand simultaneously that we are a part of something much greater. And life becomes illuminated via this understanding. So thank you for listening. God bless you, as is always the case, and goodbye.